Happy New Year, everybody. I'm Marguerite Crispillo, and thanks so much for stopping by. So it's that time of year where everybody's doing all their goals and their resolutions and all that kind of stuff, right? And what I've found is that so many people start with all these different goals and they aren't actually able to accomplish them, and so then they get frustrated. And the biggest mistake and why most people don't accomplish those goals is because they're just not specific. They don't really break it down into bite-sized chunks that they're able to accomplish on a monthly, weekly, daily, even hourly basis, right? So if you look at all the different areas of your life, a couple of the ones that seem to be the most prevalent for most people are their financial goals and their weight goals. So I thought we would take a financial goal and break it down a little bit for you to give you an idea on how realistic you're being and what it is you need to be doing on a regular basis, right? So let's say, for example, that you've decided your goal this year is to make $100,000. Now, things that you want to keep in mind is that everybody's goal is different, but is that your gross amount of money or the net amount of money you want to actually be able to take home to your family? So if your goal is $100,000, what does that equate to a month? $8,333. Per week, $1,920. If you work 5 days a week, it comes out to $384 a day. And if you work 8 hours a day, it comes out to $48 an hour. So when you're actually planning your day and doing all the work that's required, are you really doing work that warrants $48 an hour? Now, I see some people do that and some people kind of dilly-dally around, or for many of you, maybe it's time for you to hire an assistant to really help you take your business to that next level. Could you hire somebody at $10 an hour to do work for you so that you could focus on the $48 an hour work? Okay, so now we've actually talked about what it breaks down to by the month, week, day, all of that, right? But what you need to know is, first of all, is that the amount of money that you want to bring home, or is that the amount of money that you plan on grossing? So we're going to break it down even further because it's important that you really look at this so that you have an idea of what your action plan is going to be this year. So let's say these are all examples. I've kind of filled in some numbers that might be typical for your area, but you need to actually take this and break it down for what works for you, right? So what is your average commission in your market area? Now, how you can determine that is by looking at what your production was last year and dividing it by the number of units you did will give you a good indication of what your personal average commission is. So let's use an industry average right now for our area, which is around $5,000. If your average commission is $5,000, then you're going to need to do approximately 2 transactions every month to hit that $8,000 goal, right? Now, many people, it depends on what your split is, we're just going to use an average, but you're going to want to plug in your own numbers. But if you were on a 70-30 split, you would net about $7,000 after your company splits. Now, for many of you, all of you are going to have expenses, right? Break down what those expenses are for things like your cell phone, your car, your advertising, your MLS dues, all the little stuff, client gifts, all the things that you spend on a regular basis. What are those expenses? Now, we're going to use an average here of $1,000, but I have to tell you, many agents have a tendency to overestimate what they make, underestimate what it costs. So it'd be really great for you to sit down and look at what your averages last year were per month. And then good old Uncle Sam takes his chunk, right? So then you have a couple $1,000s on average. Taxes depends on your different tax base and that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, if you were to actually generate $10,000 a month in commissions, you could very realistically end up with only about $4,000. So does that number work for you and the goals that you created for yourself this year? If not, then you need to go back and adjust those, right? And figure out what number is going to work so that you have enough money to take home to your family to accomplish the goals that you wanted to accomplish this year. Now, once you have this number in place, the next step is really to break it down to exactly what it is you're going to be doing every day in that hourly time that we talked about at 48 bucks an hour, or whatever that number calculates out for you. What are you going to be doing on a regular basis to get that business? I would love to hear about it. I would love to hear what your plan is for this year. Because I've found too, the more you tell other people and the more you're accountable and you brag about it, the higher your success rate is. So pop over onto the blog, leave it in your comments, let us know what your plan is for this year. I would love to see it and get some input on what's going to work for you. And be sure and share this with all of your friends out there in social media land. I know that they could all use and benefit from helping learn how to create very specific goals on what it is that you want to do. It's really one of my keys to success. All right, so thanks for stopping by. Be sure to leave your comments. I can't wait to read them, and we'll see you next time.